Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Ryan Orrock, and I am honored and happy today to be spending time with Victoria LaFontaine. Hello, Victoria.
Hi, Ryan. Thank you. Such an honor. Thanks for having me.
So, Victoria is an amazing healer, visceral therapist, shaman, if I dare say so, and so powerful in so many ways. She's been helping me and a close friend of mine with our journeys of healing and coming back to ourselves. And maybe I'll talk more about that later. But I was just so excited by these experiences and meeting someone so amazing that I wanted to bring her out as much as possible to a larger audience so that people can get to know her and the amazing people that are around in this rather challenging time. So, welcome and hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Doing great. Just had a great Thanksgiving with the family. Spent a lot of time outdoors with my animals, which is very important in my family. And had some clients today and grateful to be back working, helping out people.
And the help that you do, how do you describe it? How do you describe what you do?
Well, it's a manual therapy, so it's touch, but it's very, very gentle. And it is very precise as well. And I'm always working on the system of the body that needs the help because it feels like sometimes people kind of just are treating symptoms and I'm not really going to the root cause. With this work is different. I'm really looking at the body as a whole, the nerves, the vascular system, the joints, ligaments, the organs, and when you are working on all the systems together, very powerful thing can happen. And so I allow the body to let me know what it needs, not me tell the body what it needs. So I'm able to, through touch and a term called negative pressure, really feel where precisely is the work needed. So when I touch the body, it's near the liver. Will it take me into 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, or is it 40%? Is it more of a hepatic artery issue or the hepatic nerve? And it's generally a couple different things that affect the body and take away the body's ability to heal. So, and because it's a physical manual therapy, it deals with the emotions very, very well. So it's dealing with the emotions and the physical issues of the body, which is what you want.
Yes, it's what I want, definitely. There's so much. I don't know if there's anything that does not have an emotional component as far as
Exactly.
healing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, you're diving right in here with a master class, which I think is awesome. So I want to dive in, ask a couple questions about what
Yeah.
you just said. So, the first is the value of gentle. So many of us are used to going to chiropractors and they go, they crack things, they break things, and then we're all right for a little bit, and then things start up again. Uh, so why this gentle approach, or what do you have to say about that, if I can ask?
I kind of feel like, anytime you're forcing things, I'm a big believer in not forcing. You look at your relationships, your human relationship with coworkers or your family or your spouse. Anytime you're forcing things, you're going to get a little kickback. So I think um, it's really nice to be on common ground and really jump into the system and tell me what you need. Forcing, in my opinion, may be great for some people, but it's not for me, and it does not work well for this therapy. And so when I'm working on, say, the liver, and I can feel that it's like really stuck. There's 7 different types of ligaments that hold the liver in place, plus there's a whole fascial system that goes around all of the ligaments. And so when I'm feeling the liver, is it anterior posterior roll, yeah, that feels okay. Inferior superior, yeah, that's not feeling so good. So what happens is I just gently, hold that liver in my hand and get it moving a little bit, and then it'll move a little, and I'll take it a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you can just feel like the floodgates open, because I explain to my patients this way, that when the river is flowing, what happens to the water? It's clean, it's pure, everything's going great. When it gets dammed up and stops, what happens? You get you get bad things in the water that don't serve the water, and it makes it dirty. And so it's the same thing with our body. Our body is fluid and it needs to move. And when it stops moving because of pregnancies, stress, accidents, then our organs don't move the way they should, because our organs actually have an inspire, expire movement where they move 50,000 movements a day, just like the heartbeats. Our liver's going this way, our stomach's going this way. So when they stop moving, then pain and disease follow. So most of the time with clients, 90% of the time, it's usually stress components. So it's very, very important to keep our minds clear of stress. I mean, everyone's going to have stress, but the bottom line is, how do we handle our stress? Do we forgive? Do we love? Do we put ourselves in a situation where we can, constantly love and forgive? And that's one of the keys, I believe, is that we really have to keep our minds really clean and pure, and don't let those bad thoughts in.
Okay, so what strikes me right there, and I absolutely agree, is you have a knowledge of anatomy that is astounding, and physiology. So what is the balance between, okay, there's these 7 different ligaments, they're connected to this fascia, what's happening, and the intuitive senses that you have? How much of your work is one and how much is it the other, and how do you balance that?
You know what? That's a really hard question. I feel like I've been training with the Burrell Institute for the last 14, 15 years, over 26 classes, a lot of them 2 times. And I am constantly studying my anatomy, on the way, to and from Thanksgiving. I had 3-4 hours in the car, and I was constantly just looking at anatomy and studying. And I mean, this is going to be a quest in my life forever. I'm always going to be studying, and I'm always going to be trying to figure things out. But on the other hand, yeah, I need to be able to take my hand and I need to be able to feel stuff. I need to be able to feel, where's that heat coming off of? Is that oh yeah, I can't, that artery, I don't feel the blood coming through it, things like that. So it just takes years and years to reach that palpation. But I mean, end of the day, you have to really believe, like, hey, yeah, I can feel this. I know a lot of people limit themselves, and it can get a little overwhelming, but I feel like you definitely have to have the study and the classes and the anatomy, but then you also have to tap into that side of you and say, okay, I trust that I'm going to be able to see this, and I trust I'm able to feel and know, So, I don't think one's without the other. I think it comes with a lot of studying and hard work.
Well, we have all of these complex medical instruments. We have MRIs and all these huge complex tests and things. And actually, the human body is capable of feeling at such, I mean, I had pulse diagnostic done once with a Tibetan doctor, felt my pulse and then said everything that was going on with me, right? Like how, right? And then I had someone else who just looked at my irises and then diagnosed from my iris. Like the body has so much information. And if you're sensitive, I think our fingers can feel to 1/50,000th of a gram or something. If a fly lands on you, you feel it. But we lose that sensitivity and we lose that connection, and then we go to someone who's trained, who uses some machine or whatever to try and fix us. But there's so much available, like you said, when we believe in ourselves and we feel that subtle. So, and I definitely know that when I'm with you, I definitely feel you feeling things in me. And like you said, is that artery block? That's amazing that you can feel that. But really, I just want everyone who's listening to know there's miraculous things possible. Just like,
Exactly.
Just like the hunters on the Serengeti can look down and see, okay, there was this animal here 4 hours ago or something, you know, you can do that with the body. And that's just amazing.
Yep. Thank you. You know, it's a process, and I won't ever call myself a master. I feel like I'll always be striving and studying and just really, really trying to take my skills to a new level, you know, all the time.
And I had one more question. What is negative pressure exactly?
So that's more of a medical term. So, you know, we have to have some medical terms within the work to help people, you know, understand what we do, because it's so many levels. When you put your hand on the body has like a negative, it's a negative pressure. It's kind of like a little spiral, and you can kind of feel it, you know? And so, you know, and the medical term is negative pressure. So wherever you're touching, you'll feel negative pressure. And so it's kind of like a stillness, like it's not moving the way it should, type of thing. So that's just kind of a medical term to help people understand that better.
All right. And what do people usually come to you for?
Everything. I work a lot with TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, concussions, any pediatric issue. So, for example, pediatrics, tongue tie, lip tie, which 90% of the time it's going to be a cranial restriction. Um, Sometimes I'll see, or, you know, bedwetting, a lot of anger. Um, you know, for example, I saw a boy one time, he was about 19. He struggled with depression, anxiety, sleep issues, digestive issues. Really good kid, you know, and really tried hard and would come up short with a lot of things. So he came into my office and get asking question, come to find out, I had a very traumatic birth. So he had head trauma. So even though he was going to all these other medical doctors or healers and stuff, you know, they you know, they're treating the symptoms like, oh, well, your stomach, you know, is hurting, or your digestion, let's focus on that. But at the end of the day, you know, that was not the first component. It was the brain. So, you know, I think it took he was a harder one because it's been back from birth, the trauma. So about 10, 15 sessions, he's doing great. He's sleeping good, no anxiety, depression. He'll have anxiety sometimes. So when you're treating at the core issue, you're really treating at a very deep level. And so I tell my clients, I'll see them 3 to 5 visits. And then depending on how well they manage their stress and self-care, I'll see them once a year or once every 6 months. And they just come back in like that one time for the tune-up. So yeah, a lot of TBIs, concussions, neck pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, foot pain, any musculoskeletal stuff, depression, anxiety. I work on a lot. I have a couple nurse midwives that send me their patients. So a lot of pregnant women, pre and post infertility issues, bladder issues, energy, sleep. You know, that's what's great, because, you know, people come into my office and I'll sit them down and they'll chat with me and tell me what their struggles are. But, you know, if people came in and didn't tell me anything, the outcome is still going to be the same, because, you know, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, well, your neck's hurting, it's going to be this ligament, or it's going to be associated with your stomach or your liver. You know, it's really important to keep the work pure and to follow that listening and what the body's telling you.
Beautiful. Is it more men or women that you work with?
Probably about 80% women, 20% men.
And the ages predominantly?
Yeah, you know, 7 days up to 90.
Really, just everybody.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's very gentle. So, you know, with children, I have a box of toys in my room. The most important thing is to make them comfortable. So the first treatment, it's usually about the first half hour is just on the floor with them, playing with the toys, getting them really comfortable. That's very important. And then working on them, is a little tricky, but very effective. So.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing body work for 25 years, and I've been I've been practicing the Burrell Institute, the Burrell method for the past 15. And that's about 96% of my practice probably is his work. And yeah, it's been great.
And how did you get into this?
So, I went to massage school 25 years ago, and I always felt like I worked really hard and I tried hard and I was very focused, and people see me for back or neck pain and they'd come back in a week or two later. Yeah, my back felt good for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and then it started hurting again. And I'm like, wait, in my mind, I have always had very high expectations, but in my mind, it wasn't acceptable for me. I wanted to help people at a deep level, and I knew that their body could heal at a very deep level. And I didn't want to see them for a long time because I don't want to just take people's money. I want them to physically and mentally heal. So then my quest of taking a lot of continuing education and a lot of classes and trying to figure out, which way I wanted to go, what was going to take me to that level of truly healing somebody. So my best friend showed me an article in Time magazine about Jean-Pierre Barrel. He was named Time magazine's top innovator in the 21st century. And I had a local class in Salt Lake. I went up to it, and it was just so different because it's like, oh yeah, if you work on someone's liver, that's really connected to the mid back and it's going to stop hurting, And so even though it was really odd and different, I just felt really, really good about it. I'm like, this is it. So I just started taking, 4 classes all over the United States. Every year I would take classes and classes. And it was a little bit tricky to, say, hey, yeah, come in. I'm going to work on your kidneys and you're not going to have back pain anymore,
Mm-hmm.
Because what do we used to? We used to people pressing on our back and cracking,
Right.
But yeah, but it was, the results do not lie. People were having phenomenal results. And I had a family and that was my first priority. So my youngest is 16 now. So about the last 4 years, I've really jumped into the field a little bit more. I was working out of my house. Now I have an office with integrated healthcare associates, doctors. They refer me people as well. And so, it was amazing because, this is what I had been looking for my whole life, so I'm grateful for it.
And so what do you see your mission as in this work? What is the larger vision that you have?
The larger vision, just keep doing what I'm doing, basically, help people, keep my mind and my studying up, and really, really help everyone. And, I wouldn't mind doing maybe have a facility. I know there's some facilities around that charge for, that have scar tissue, there be scar tissue in the abdomen and stuff. But personally, I think traumatic brain injuries, concussions, and pediatrics, just because I feel like there's not a lot of people who work on pediatrics. It's very easy. And there's not all answers for the TBIs. I get people that's been suffering for 10 years with everything under the sun because of their concussion, and they've had a divorce and they don't know why they act that way and they're angry, and they do a couple sessions and it's like a whole new life. You're giving people the opportunity to fit in society and to give back, So my goals in my life are to, every day to help people heal, facilitate, but then on the other spectrum, be that person to, say hi and, how are you doing? Just reach out to everyone. When I'm out in public, I always try to talk to people, and, everyone, is having hard, stressful times. And I kind of want to be that light out there for everybody.
Which segues to the next topic. What do you think spirituality has to do with the healing process and the healing work you do?
A lot. Yeah. So I am affiliated with a religion right now. And I think that's been key for me, because when I was young, you learn about God, you learn about Jesus, you go to church, you learn to pray, you learn to rely on something greater than yourself. And when you're alone, when you're completely alone, you can pray anytime, anywhere. And and sometimes you have help right away and sometimes you don't, but sometimes you'll just be comforted. So for me, religion's been key. And I like studying about the greats, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Jesus. They're all amazing people,
Can we dive a little bit deeper into this? Because I'm curious, based upon what you said, what your spiritual journey has been in your life around this especially. But you say you started out with something, you're affiliated now. Like, where did it start and where did it go and what was it like?
Yeah. So, when I was young, my parents took me to church, and I feel like that's what's missing with a lot of people today is their spiritualism. I get a lot of young people in here, and I'm not saying that this is the answer, but it's like they don't know who God is. They don't know who Jesus is, or Muhammad, whoever. People have to be a part of that spiritual roots. They have to have something that can help them know that, they exist and that they're important and they have a mission. I feel like I've just always, because the way my parents raised me, my mom, she was a saint. My dad was Native and definitely a hard man. So, the fearless mentality, attitude kind of comes from him, which is good. You can't let people be beating you down and take it. But yeah, I feel like, I take inventory, every day, did I offend somebody today? What can I do better? Is there someone that I could have helped? How am I treating my family members? And it's important to have those conversations with yourself every day. It keeps you in check,
And as you got older with all of that, did you find yourself, I don't know, like switching or going to various directions, or you're talking about all of these, everything from Gandhi to, I mean, you have Native blood and experience and, a religion apparently that you're affiliated with. I don't know if you want to talk about that in detail, but did that augment or did that change, that shifted for you, or has it still stayed, what you got in your youth is what you've built on?
Yeah, no, I feel like, I don't want to say I've changed or shifted. I want to say that I've grown.
Sure.
And I feel like we can learn from everybody. I mean, my clients that come in here, I don't care who they are, I'm learning something from them every day. Maybe it's something about where they came from, or maybe it's something about where they work. I love studying successful people or people that's had really, really hard life, and yet they came out on top. And it's all about showing up every day, and becoming who you are, you know, and at the end of the day, sometimes it's just you working hard. And that's one thing my dad really instilled with me. Yeah, he was Native American, but his grandpa, they didn't take the commodities, you know. He'd say that's for the lazy Indians, you know. They always worked very hard. My dad worked us very, very hard. And we are all very hard workers. We work for ourselves. And very, very important, you know, to work hard every day and move towards goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person. I've set several goals my whole life and have instilled that in my kids. And you always have to work towards something greater than yourself. And we can all learn from everybody around us. The world is just rich with amazing people.
If someone saw what you're doing and said, hey, I'm interested in learning how to do that, how would you recommend they look at that, or how they begin that journey?
I always, you know, the Braille Institute is where I started. So I would definitely tell them, you know, because I've told people, they're like, hey, we really want to do what you do. And I'm like, okay, we'll look up the Braille Institute, start taking classes, and we will review the material and things that you have taken in the class. You know, I feel like some people are like, yeah, I want to learn what you do. Just let me come in and you teach me. You know, it's not that easy. I have been studying very hard for 15 years and taking classes. And John Pierre said, once you do a technique 100 times, you will have, you know, mastered it, basically. You know, we literally have 1,000 techniques, maybe, you know, and then you always have your own little techniques that you make up. So yeah, very, very worth it to dive in with the Braille Institute. And they have study groups and things like that as well. Yeah, so that's what I would tell them.
Yeah. Well, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill, or Malcolm Gladwell claimed that. And there's so much I see on the internet today. It's like, how do you do this? You know, how do you get rich in 30 days? How do you get, you know,
Yeah.
lose all your weight in 2 weeks? How do you, you know, lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks? Like, you know, all of these kind of like instant solutions for things. And it's hard when people see all that and then they come and they say, okay, I want to do what you do. And it's like, they're just expecting an instant solution. And you have to say,
Yeah.
well, no, this is actually a journey, and this is a path, and it's 10,000 hours if you want to master it. You know, you just said 1,000 techniques 100 times. That's 100,000 repetitions is what you just said. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's a lot.
And the thing is, you have to know your anatomy at a very deep level, you know, all of it. I took a fresh cadaver class in Phoenix a few years ago, and that was very helpful. I think they were deceased for a couple days. And the thing about the fresh cadaver lab, the body is the way it is. You know, there was a lot of blood and stuff, but as we took those layers back, it really opens up your mind as like, oh yeah, this is great. You know, this is what you really see. So very important to have that anatomy, you know, and that's what they say too. Study your anatomy every day, study your anatomy. And that's very, very important, because when you're working with the whole body and I'm down 15%, but I don't know exactly what I'm on, you know, but if we know the anatomy, you know what you're on.
Yeah, well, the anatomy, like you said, it's kind of infinite, right? Depending on what layer you're looking at.
It is.
I mean, the body is this miraculous universal, you know, map of the universe, right? And it's this as above, so below, so to speak. And I mean, then there's energetic levels, and there's spiritual levels, and there's esoteric levels. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. And this works too. It works on a cellular level, and which, you know, I don't know a lot of works that really accomplish that, but it works on a cellular level. So when people leave my office, I tell them you have 7 days, your body on its own is going to be shifting and changing. So I'm working with the body, kind of getting it loosened up, and then the body will kind of shift, and the neck will feel really good. But then maybe 1 hour, it'll be kind of sore, because you literally are changing and restoring the body to where it was and where it was at its perfect state. So for 7 days, it changes on its own. And sometimes people will go through emotional things as well. But that's good because they'll kind of think about it and go through it, but then it's over, so it really helps you deal with emotional and physical things very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you say just three sessions, 5 sessions. I think people are used to going to a therapist forever, kind of, quite often. That's
Yep.
miraculous that it happens so fast.
Yeah, very much so. Jean-Pierre Burrell, he's the master, and I think he sees his clients 7 to 10 minutes once a year.
Really?
he, he is amazing. He's amazing. And I'm very grateful to have studied with him and, Alon as well. They're partners. Very, very, very good. They're both osteopaths. They're from France. So this work is like an osteopath work.
Okay. And you right now, you work in Provo, is that right?
Yeah, Provo.
And the Salt Lake office is still coming, or we'll see, or?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We'll see. It's pending. It's in Sugar House.
Right, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, any messages you have for the wider world right now? Everyone's confronted with masks and forced vaccinations, and goodness knows what else is going to happen. Like, what would you tell us all with what we're seeing and what we're experiencing in the world, and COVID and all of that?
There's a bigger picture to what's going on with everything, and I would tell people that one thing: fear is not the answer. There's a lot of fear going on around right now, but it's a choice. Are we going to be afraid? Are we not? So number one, I think we need to really get back to our roots, and there's really nothing to fear. Also, I would say, eat healthy, exercise, keep your mind strong and healthy. Don't let those thoughts in, especially fear. It just breaks down our immune system, everything like crazy. And love and forgive. Those are very, very important things. And then, study the Constitution, know what's going on. Find reliable sources that you trust, that we can find with the news, because there's a lot of things that are going on right now that are not being accurately covered. And yeah, so fear not.
You say that fear is a decision, and yeah, it says right there, fear not, right? But a lot of people think, well, I don't have a choice when fear is just a thing that happens to me. So what do you say about that? How do we not choose fear? How do we unchoose fear if we're feeling it?
Yeah, we all have a choice. I think a lot of people caught up, oh, it's just who I am. It's the way I think. No, it's not. Our brain does what we tell it to do. So, I mean, that's a whole nother story I'm trying to think of the name of it, but, like quantum physics and things like that, if you look into that, you can really see what the brain is and what we can do and who can we become if we just change our thinking a little. Yeah, there's always going to be things to be scared about, but are we going to be scared about it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, all day? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not saying discount it, but yeah, I'm thinking be scared for 5 minutes, work it through in your mind. Okay, what is this going to teach me, and how is this going to test me? And we can always come out on top. I 100% believe that God has blessed us with our bodies and minds to accomplish whatever we want to accomplish. It doesn't matter where we come, who we came from, where we live. Yeah, I know that there's third world countries that are very challenged, and it's very sad, the corruption of the governments, but they can still choose to be happy, and and, create happiness wherever they go.
Yeah, maybe you should like have courses about that, just not fearing. And it's just interesting when I'm speaking to people now, so many people are so isolated that any words of hope seem to be extra powerful at the moment.
Yeah, isolation is something they're choosing to do. Um, I mean, from the data and research that I've seen, isolation is not helping people at
Mm-hmm.
all. It's actually contributing to the problem.
Right.
Um, I'm a little bit more of a free spirit. So, I mean, ever since Corona's happened, I don't feel like my life's changed. I have a few more clients, of course, but I am in Utah. So, they do have the mask mandates and things like that. But I'm not going to comment on that. But it, you know, we're in the United States of America. We have a constitution. We have a right to go to church. We have a right to go shopping. We have a right to leave our houses. That is our constant. And that's why I say you guys study the Constitution, study the Bill of Rights, because there's a whole, there's a plan to take down Americans in America, but we need to know our rights, and I know there's some people that really feel they need to isolate because of their health, and that's unfortunate, but I would recommend doing some online studying, keep your mind busy, do that thing that you've always wanted to do for the last how many years, and you can still get out, and if you're scared of being around people, and get out in the mountains and things like that. So I think it's more about focus on what we can do and what we do have, not focus what we can't do. That's very, very important. And, our freedom, that's what's important to us. And I'm grateful for my freedoms that I have.
You just have such an energy of courage around you when you speak. Yeah, you
Thank you.
really exude that. You really support me. I'm sure you support many people. I mean, whether it's a battle versus an illness, or
Yeah,
like you said, a relationship that's not going well, or something in the outside world, just this attitude of, okay, I'm going to be afraid for 5 minutes and then I'm going to be courageous and go for it. That's beautiful.
exactly.
Powerful.
Exactly. For sure. And we all have that in us. It's just finding it.
Well, it's connecting with other people who have those things that, we lack or we wish we had, or, hearing their example, their stories, and their inspiration is just so valuable. So thank you for that.
Yep, it is. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was a single mom for 10 years, and not easy, And I remember someone telling me one time, like, you just want everything to be okay, and you want to make sure your kids are okay and thriving. And they said, you know what? If you're okay, your kids are going to be okay. And it's like, wow. And how true is that, So me getting myself okay, not talking bad, not feeding in, it, helped me amazingly, It's all about forgiveness and moving on.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about forgiveness so much, and you made me think about forgiveness in some new ways again. I felt my whole life shift as I've approached forgiving all of these things that we talked about and that I felt in my session. I really appreciate that. You do have a very powerful forgiveness ministry, I'm just going to say. It is
Thank you.
quite important. And I know that you say you have children. You also work with a lot of young people, a lot of teenagers, a lot of children.
Yep.
And it just feels like you have an inspirational, just a special mission or dispensation with them, from what I can guess in knowing you.
Yeah, I hope so. I feel like my thing is to really connect with people. And the way you really connect with people is people don't care about how much you know, they care about how you make them feel. So connection is key. And I generally care about everybody. So I feel like I can connect really well to kids and teens. They'll come in and trust and tell me things. And, it's hard. I've dealt with a lot of sexual abuse, satanic ritual, horrible things that they've told me, horrible. And, just help them get to a place, and it's sad because these people will suffer, their whole life, at the hand of a couple different people. So that's another thing. People need to be watched, and if they see things that they don't feel is right, they need to report it. They need to look into it. You could be saving someone's life.
Yeah, we live in such a situation where we all have our little suburban neighborhoods and we have our houses, and we're quite isolated quite often. And when you think of the tribe, I was reading about, I don't remember what it's called. It's not a sweat lodge, but like there used to be one big lodge for the tribe, so to speak, where everybody ate, and then or everyone has their teepees or whatever, and you have this tribal village, and I mean, like it just feels like it would be so transparent, and you wouldn't have abuse in these situations, or people would be able to step in. Or and now we're saying, well, it's not my kid, is it my place to say something, and so you're saying, well, if you see something going on, make a difference, say something, try to help. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're all here to help each other. We're all part of the tribe, whether we want to be or not.
Uh-huh.
We're all responsible for each other. And, you know, it's just, I just really feel like we need to be that light in the world and to help everybody. These young kids have really gone through it, and it's traumatic. It's very, very sad. And the adults, they should be ashamed of themselves
Well,
that are abusing children like this.
yeah, I mean, that was one thing when you talked about forgiveness, and I can get very angry at things, but instead looking at, okay, what can I do? How can I help things improve? And how can I deal with things as they are, rather than saying, okay, this is wrong and the whole world is messed up, and get angry and frustrated
Yeah.
at it. It's easy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to stay in present time. Um, we don't want to live in the future or the past. It's very, very important to stay in present time. That's when we can be the most effective. So a lot of people live in the past, a lot of people live in the future. Very important to stay present. When we're present, that's when the most peace comes. I learned a lot of great lessons from Eckhart Tolle. His books have been phenomenal. I've had some native uncles that have really helped me, and kind of become who you are. You're gifted. Become who you are. Everyone's gifted in their own little way, and we need to branch out. We need to come out of our little bubble and find out what that is, because we all can give back substantially to the world.
Mm. Again, inspiring. And so many people are waiting for the politicians or the leaders to fix things, or they believe in this politician or that politician. We won, we lost. But yeah, no, it's like they have two arms, two legs, just like we do, and they're not super beings. And if we want to change the world, we can change the world just like anyone else can, right?
Yeah, start with ourselves. That's a good place, because when we're healthy, people can see that, and we can help other people. I feel like there's a lot of judging that's going on today, and um, you know, people that are judging, and then also people that are comparing, criticizing, contending, competing. And I'm not saying it's bad to be competitive, but I mean, I just feel like, oh my gosh, she needs to lose weight, why, that's not being compassionate to people around us, Um, so yeah, I just feel like we need to be in a place where we're in present time and, we're not judging and we're just trying to reach out to people. Excuse me.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Bless you. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is a nice little introduction, I think, to you and
Yeah,
your work.
thank you.
Any final words? So much wisdom already came up, or anything you want to say, but that you want to message before we end?
Yeah, one of my most favorite, I love Stephen R. Covey. He's been a great inspiration to me and a lot of great quotes, but the one that I really like is be the change that you want to see in the world. So, that's important to me, to be that person that you want to see in the world. And by you changing and being that person, you will change people around you.
Well, I've definitely seen you do that, and I've definitely enjoyed having you do that. So thank you so much. Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's been great to work on you. We've had great sessions. It's been very fun. You have great energy.
We have fun. We have fun more than anything else. That's, as I think, something else that you're
Yep.
asking me, or that you keep saying, that's really important, to focus on the fun, because that's important too.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I'll wish you the best. And if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to work with you or contact you, what's the best way to do that?
Usually text 801-623-1830.
Okay.
And I
801
can,
623 1830. Okay. Is that right?
yeah,
Uh,
call or text and I can chat with them more. And, they can also go on the Barral Institute, BARRAL, BarralInstitute.com, and they have hundreds of case studies of different, like all of the Barrel Institute practitioners. We send in our case studies and things like that, and who we worked with and what we found. So there's some information on there under case studies. And if you would like some brochures as well, I can text me your address and I'll be glad to send you some brochures.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
I hope more people reach out, and that your work keeps expanding and growing, and looking forward to where it goes from here.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate you so much. You keep doing what you're doing and being that light in the world that everyone needs.
Well, like you said, we're supposed to be the change. So I think this was a wonderful exchange of us both getting to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
You too. Have a great day.